What is up, everyone? It's Ryan.
Hey, can you just say "and Sarah" into the mic?
No, because what's the first part of that sentence?
We currently have our hashtag feet in the stands. We're in Uzbekistan, a country that up until a week ago I knew nothing about. But after traveling across the country, I wanted to make this video to tell you why I think Uzbekistan is a great destination to travel to. I want to show you how cheap it is. And you know, I'm not a vlogger. Vloggers, for the most part, they're pretty lame. They're always pretending like everything is amazing. I don't vlog, I vart. That's video art. And one of the main differences between a vlog and a vart is that I tell it like it is.
I mean, it's cool, but it's no buffalo chicken wings.
Not everything in Uzbekistan is amazing. So we'll also get into some of the things that make you want to go Uzbekistan, more like boo Uzbekistan.
I was saying boo earns.
When we first landed in Uzbekistan, I was surprised how European it felt.
This is just like Europe, but like
Yeah, it feels very European.
quarter of the budget.
And that was my second big surprise, just how cheap it was. Let's start with the food. Let me take you to Samarkand, one of the biggest tourist cities in Uzbekistan. It's right on the Silk Road, and it's filled with so much history and beautiful historical buildings. It's amazing.
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 Can't possibly be as nice inside as it is outside. Oh my god.
Amazing.
We had a meal at a restaurant that was very much on the tourist trail.
Cool little tea garden here we're in. Nice. Great spot to sit. Beautiful weather. Man, I love loving Uzbekistan. Oh, yeah, Pepsi chair. See that Pepsi chair? They love Pepsi
Oh,
here.
I love Pepsi here.
A delicious salad, plov, aka pilaf, a rice and beef dish, some manti, Uzbek steamed dumplings. These ones are filled with pumpkin, plus a bottle of Pepsi and
Some green lemonade. There's like not a trace of lemon in this lemonade. Doesn't have a picture of lemon on it, but it does say H is like an N. That is like an L. Lumonade. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's terrible. It's not good.
total for this meal in this garden setting down the street from one of the biggest tourist attractions in the country, 120,000 som, which is about $9.50 US. Honestly, this was our most expensive meal in Samarkand. This lunch, which consisted of lamb-filled mantis, was about $2 each. A barbecue lamb skewer goes for just a couple of bucks. Even alcohol was pretty cheap, you know, considering it's a majority Muslim country. We found a craft beer place in Tashkent that was serving pints of IPA for just $2.
Look at this. Local cheese. Looks like Edam. Maybe bells.
No, that should be in focus. I don't care what you say, camera. You're not working properly.
You try turning it off and on again.
Hotels in Uzbekistan are where you're going to spend most of your budget. This room in Tashkent was about $48 a night. This room in the tourist town of Samarkand was $50 a night. The good thing is all the places we stayed included breakfast, and usually a pretty large breakfast, depending on how willing you were to stuff your face with sweets and breads. They were also all pretty quaint, I want to say. Hey Google, what does quaint mean?
This is the definition of quaint, attractively unusual or old-fashioned.
Nailed it. They were in traditional houses with courtyards, usually very close to the attractions.
Alright, we found our hotel. Can't check in yet. We're a little early. But we're sitting up here on the terrace. And I would say it's pretty awesome.
Transportation in Uzbekistan is surprisingly cushy. We took a high-speed train traveling up to 250 kilometers per hour from Tashkent to Samarkand. That took just 2 hours and 20 minutes. It was very comfy and cost about $22 each. From Samarkand, we trained it to Bukhara.
It's a beautiful train station. Look at this.
1 hour and 43 minutes for about 16 US each. I'm looking at the website that we bought the tickets from, the official Uzbek Rail site, and I'm seeing that the tickets are now more expensive. I'm not sure if that's because of the time of year or maybe they just raised the prices in the last few weeks. At any rate, my prices were accurate for me, but they are subject to change. If you don't want to spend that much, you can opt for an economy class seat, which I don't think has AC, but it's a pretty short ride. Looking on the site right now, it's about a $9 difference between the two classes. There are also slow trains that take around 3.5 hours and cost, right now they're going for about $10 each if you're going from Tashkent to Samarkand. So we paid $6 more, shaved off over an hour, and sat in comfy AC with lots of legroom. Plus, we got snacks. For the leg of the journey, Bukhara to Khiva, there is no high-speed train, there's only a sleeper train.
It's 3:30 in the morning. Time to catch a train to Khiva. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wakey wakey. So basically this is what we're looking at. Sleepers.
The 7 hours it took to get to Khiva actually flew by. It was comfortable and the cost was about $15.50. This train leaves Tashkent at around 9 p.m. so it's possible to go to Tashkent to Khiva overnight, but it's about a 14-hour trip. We ended up flying from Khiva back to Tashkent. Actually, the flight was from Urgench, which is about a 40-minute drive from Khiva. Domestic flights are reasonably priced as well. The flight costs $44.30 US, and it's a pretty quick flight, like an hour. Taxis can be a bit of a nightmare in Uzbekistan. The taxi drivers you'll meet when exiting a train station or airport are very aggressive. The best way around this is the ride-hailing app Yandex Go. When we arrived in Tashkent, taxi drivers were quoting $15 to get to our hotel. Yandex Go ended up costing $1.50. Taxis are cheap, at least they should be. We tried not to use Yandex Go because I'm assuming they take a cut and I'd rather give the money to the local driver rather than the Russian company. However, when the taxi drivers are being that aggressive and quoting ridiculous prices,
with Yandex Go.
We did line up a taxi ride when we had to travel in the middle of the night, like when we went to the train station in Bukhara at 3:30 a.m. That cost just $3, and when we had to go from Khiva to Urgench airport, the 40-minute drive was just $10.
Gas station in Uzbekistan. Interesting. You have to get out of the car to fill up your gas. They have wall blockers. Kind of strange. Everybody opens the hood too when they fill up the gas, unless the gas.
Using gasoline.
Oh, they're not
They're
using
using gas,
natural, like.
compressed natural gas or liquid petroleum gas. They're more volatile and so they're more likely to explode.
Wow.
Yeah, it's benzene cheap.
Yeah. So he said it's 80,000 for one piece of balloon, but
Like one canister.
yeah, and it'll take you 300 kilometers. Oh, there's prices there. Yeah. Cool.
Cheap destinations sure are great, but please remind me, good sir, why are we in Uzbekistan?
The majority of attractions in Uzbekistan are beautiful old buildings. Some of them are mosques, some of them are mausoleums, some are former madrasas, which are basically Muslim educational institutes. There's a lot of history and a lot of cool stories.
I think this is the thing that Sarah was looking forward to the most. So this is a prison, the pit where they held two British guys for how long?
It was 4 years he was down there.
4 years. And they would just dump rats and bugs and all kinds of stuff on top of them. Just torture the shit out of them. After 4 years of being in the bug pit, you pull out and get your head chopped off.
If you're a history buff, you can really go deep with the attractions here. Personally, I just like walking around and looking at the buildings. A city like Khiva is just mind-boggling to see. Some say the city in Aladdin was modeled off of it. I had fun just wandering around and pretending to steal things while singing, "One jump ahead of the bad guys, one step ahead of my doom." There's amazing shopping. Visiting the bazaars are a must. You don't even really have to pay to go into anything, and you still have a great time, I think. That being said, let's talk about the cost of the attractions. The Registan is maybe the world's most beautiful public square, or at least it was. Now it costs 60,000 soms, which is about $4.75, but that includes entrance into the 3 buildings that surround it. The Emir Timur Mausoleum holds the remains of the former Emir, which is like a king, whose name was Timur. He was like the Genghis Khan of Uzbekistan. Genghis Khan!
Ain't got shit on me!
Entrance is $50,000 for this one, which is about $4. There are a lot of sites like these costing $3, $4, maybe $5. And to be honest, after a few you might find that they're starting to look the same. Don't be ashamed to skip out on a few and grab a cheap ice cream and just plant yourself outside of one to enjoy its facade, while your self-proclaimed history buff partner goes and nerds out over some dusty rocks. There's no way that whatever is in that building is better than frozen milk and sugar. By now you're convinced. You've already booked your tickets, you're packing your bags, but it's now time to reveal the downsides of traveling Uzbekistan. The first one, all the air in the country is poisonous. You cannot breathe while you're there. It's very difficult because you have to hold your breath, and I don't know, for me personally, breathing is important. No, they don't have poisonous oxygen in Uzbekistan, guys. I was joking. But they do have incredibly hot air. They have lots of that in the summer. The weather in Uzbekistan can be a bit extreme. Cold in the winter, blazing hot in the summer, and always dry, very dry.
We're in a desert. Look at the sky. Not a single cloud in the sky. Uzbekistan, Bukhara specifically, gets about just under half a foot of rain in an entire year. Half a foot in an entire year. Oh my gosh, so hot. Let's get a temperature check. Current temperature in Bukhara, Uzbekistan. 37 degrees, mostly sunny. According to the weather, it's mostly sunny.
Yeah, I'd say.
Up to 40 today, so definitely sunscreen, water, hat, sunglasses, lip chap, moisturizer, eye drops. Those are my tips to you. I bought eye drops here and they're really expensive, so bring them with you. Whatever else you need to keep yourself moist, because it's dry and you dry out pretty fast.
The majority of Uzbekistan looks like this. Plants are like, nah, too bloody hot. Sarah's like, nah, let's just sit here. But it's not just the fact that it's hot and dry, it's the fact that it's hot until the sun sets, which is like 8:30 p.m. in the summer, maybe later. A place like Khiva has these beautiful rooftop patios, but you can't sit on them because the sun is too intense. You have to wait until the sun sets, and then you end up eating at like 9 p.m. every night, which for me personally is just too late. Especially if you want to get up at a decent time so you can sightsee before it gets too hot. Oh yeah, because the sun rises at 5:30 a.m.
Only about 39 degrees in the sun, because it's like 9 a.m. But it's going to get hotter. And at that time we will be inside in the AC, because it's too much.
So there's such a small window of time when it isn't scorching outside, and 90% of that time you're sleeping. Now, of course, all this is different in the winter when the sun rises at around 8:30 a.m. and sets at around 5:30 p.m. Pick your poison, I guess. I asked a local what the best time of the year in Uzbekistan is, and she said March, April, and May have the best weather, so maybe keep this in mind when planning your trip. That time of the year, you're looking at about a 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. day.
Okay, I'll take one. It's good? It's good.
While Uzbek food is quite delicious, after a while it made me feel like my heart was going to explode. Oh yeah, that sounds about right. So much bread, dairy, and meat. They love salt, they love sugar. They don't like pooping, I don't think. And when in Rome, poo is the Romans' poo. Isn't that the expression? I already told you that the taxi drivers are lying sons of a bitches, but what about everyone else? What about this guy? While most of the people in Uzbekistan are great, they're fine, they're lovely people, it was actually pretty outstanding how many times we were overcharged at restaurants in Uzbekistan. Sometimes they would short us on the change, sometimes they would overcharge for certain items, sometimes the menu wouldn't have a price for something, and then when we got the bill, the item was overly expensive. It happened probably 6 or 7 times, too many times to say they were making mistakes. It wasn't anything insane, maybe just 50 cents or more, but it's the point of it all. It's insulting, and it makes you not want to trust Uzbeks, sorry to say. For example, I went to get a shave, and the guy shaved me with an electric razor only, no straight blade. I was charged 20,000 soms, about $1.60, and then I spent the walk home thinking they're all probably laughing at me because they ripped me off. I mean, I saw that he had a straight blade. Why didn't he use the straight blade? I don't think the Uzbeks are dishonest people, but it takes one bad pomegranate to spoil the whole barrel. By the way, pomegranates are kind of a thing in Uzbekistan. Be sure to try the pomegranate juice. I also think that people are, let's say, not really into customer service. I guess they just don't give a flying pomegranate. As a Westerner, it does come off as rude, but just remember that not all cultures are into niceties. They were under Soviet control for over 60 years, so some of that Russian stoicism has probably rubbed off on them. While smiling at strangers in the West is seen as friendly, in Russia and possibly Uzbekistan, it's seen as being insincere, which I do kind of get.
This is the worst day of my life.
To top it all off, most restaurants, especially the ones in the tourist areas, charge a service fee. Often it was a whopping 20%. Kind of feels like you're paying someone to despise you, which maybe you're into.
Here's your fucking bell, Mini.
Thanks so much. I'm really sorry for having to make you give me the food I ordered at your restaurant.
And that about does it for this video. Please don't be scared off by the negative things. I only mention them so you can be prepared for them. We really loved our time in Uzbekistan. I mean, it's no buffalo chicken wings, but it's a pretty great place.
That's beautiful.
Take care. Comb your hair. I'm out.
Don't match up, no love, fuck a date. I just fade when I hit the jack. You can keep the pie. Every night I gamble, I stop. Yeah, when I check the cost, I was like, oh, that's expensive.